celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on AM 650.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight on Boomer Life on AM 650. My name is Simone Grewal. Today we've been talking about addiction. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction or dependency issues, we hope we've been able to answer some of your questions. In studio with us, Jason Spies, who is the Executive Director and Interventionist at LDR Holistic Wellness Center, and John Patterson, who's the Human Relations Director. So now, both of you, how did you come to get involved with LDR Holistic Addiction Wellness Center?
Well, as the executive director, I really had a vision. Again, I wanted to approach an area in the industry that I didn't feel that was being approached, and that was to design a program around intimacy and safety and keeping our environment very controlled. So that's why we have 12 beds. It's one of the reasons why we've been known in the industry to have some of the highest staff-to-client ratios, and that way we can really work with people on a hands-on approach. I've been an interventionist for many, many, many years now, so I fly all over Canada and the U.S. working with families, identify that they have an addiction issue, and then discover what a solution looks like. And I guess that's my message right now to the families, that there is a tremendous amount of hope. A lot of times families have been struggling with this for a long time, and they've been beaten down in a lot of ways, hopeless, feeling that this is totally out of control and that they don't have a direction it's ever going to spin into. And I want to let them know that as a professional and standing behind the lines watching many families start to reach out for help, not only do they find a sense of hope, but they find a real purpose and a direction with quality treatment programs. So that's my message to you out there listening today, is that if you have a loved one, or you yourself perhaps is struggling with an addiction issue, we're just a phone call away, and we're all recovering alcoholics and addicts. Every single member of our team have walked the walk, and I think it's really important to identify with that.
It makes you relatable. And same with you as well, John. How did you become involved in becoming the Human Relations Director here?
So it's been an amazing journey for me, Simone. I mean, first and foremost, I have to say that quitting drinking, as frightening as that proposition was back in 1977, and I didn't have any idea what life was going to be like after that, has proven to have been the most amazing and positive experience and decision I ever made. I've literally exceeded every expectation I ever had, and it's a direct result of the experience that I've had in recovery. I kid you not. It is transformative. You think you're going to come into recovery to quit whatever that drug of choice is? No, that is the beginning. Everything from the inside out will begin to change, and it will begin to change in a positive directional way towards you beginning to develop your full potential. I've been studying not only addiction, but why human beings make the decisions that they make for the better part of 3 decades. I recently completed a master's degree at Royal Roads University, again on leadership, and really the focus there was on how do individuals and groups change? What are the dynamics of change? What is the resistance to change? What is the fear around change? How do we cope with the gap between where we're at, where we no longer want to be, and the place we want to get to? And how do we deal with the chaos when we're neither where we were nor where we want to be? And this has a particular emphasis when it comes to families, because they're kind of the forgotten part of the dynamic. Virginia Satir said that if one person in the family is in pain, the whole family is in pain.
Exactly.
And this is so much the case where I was actually looking at conducting some doctoral research on family systems and how they're impacted by addiction and recovery. And it might seem odd to say, well, how are families impacted by recovery? But in fact, it's as traumatic to deal with recovery as it is with addiction, because of how every single member is like a mobile. You move one element in a mobile, the entire mobile moves. And this happens with families. When the center of gravity shifts from active addiction to recovery, the family system that, however dysfunctional, at least worked with active addiction, that system collapses. Now, how does that family begin to redefine itself, to rebuild itself, to reconnect and re-relate to each other?
So how does it work with the family? What do they need to know when they're seeking treatment for active alcoholic or addict? Do they call directly? Should they talk to the person that's dealing with this drug or alcohol addiction and say, look, we're really going to get you the help? Should they not tell that person and kind of speak to you first? How should it work?
That's an interesting question, and I wish I had padded answers for these, but the truth of the matter is maybe that's a question that they can phone us directly and ask. Where do I start in this journey? Here's some of the facts and information that are going on for us, and we're absolutely comfortable in doing that. These calls are confidential. We can start help taking kind of this apart and putting it back together. LDR has always remained committed. Whether you're using our service or not, we want to help you start to basically move down a path of identifying, addressing, and moving past addiction.
And for the recovery period, is it in most cases, I think earlier we mentioned, is it 60 to 90 days? Is it more than that? Is it less than that? What's kind of the average time frame for, say, someone who's dealing with being an addict to alcohol?
Well, that's, again, a very interesting question. We're going to have that in future shows where we're going to talk about that very extensively. But in general, yes, residential treatment has certain models. Our model is 60 days and above. We want to be able to give them the real time to start working with a lot of the underpinnings and mechanisms of addiction. And there's no secret ingredient here. It's time plus process equals results. And so, for us to do our job, someone's got to really stay committed on this path. But again, if you're a family out there wondering these questions, we will spend the time speaking with you on how to start stepping down that road.
And can I just add too, for the benefit of the mom or the dad or the brother or the sister who's aunt or uncle who's struggling, they see somebody in their family who's in a lot of pain, and the pain that's causing everybody around them. Every one of you is doing the best you can, and if you could do a better job, you would. You're not failing each other. You're doing the best you can with the resources you have. You just don't know what you don't know, and we can offer you a language, a level of understanding, and a level of compassion that I think you're probably unable to give yourselves. Do give us that call, because not only are all of us in recovery ourselves, but guess what? We got mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews who were also bewildered at us. Mm-hmm. And if we could have given them an answer that explained our inexplainable behavior, we would have, but we couldn't, because we simply didn't know what we didn't know. And families, you have not failed in your capacity as a mother and a father in a family. It's not anything you've done or you haven't done or you said or you should have said or you didn't say. Whoever the identified client is, they are suffering from a physiological disease. They need help. You, who have been twisting yourselves into pretzels to try and maintain some level of normalcy within your family, you're not failing either. You're doing the best you can with the resources you can access.
There really is hope.
Absolutely.
I also want to say that one of the things that is really interesting about this whole dynamic is many times the social system looks as the addict is the problem. In fact, being an interventionist, one of the things that I've really discovered is that the family itself a lot of times looks beyond that they need the help. And so we really want to start talking about that. As a family member, we need to identify what we're also doing so that we can help this person move on.
It's been great having both of you in studio today. Jason Spies, the Executive Director and Interventionist at LDR Holistic Wellness Center, as well as John Patterson, who's the Human Relations Director. Again, if you are someone you know is struggling with addiction or dependency issues, there is more information available to you, holisticdrugrehab.org. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today.
Thank you, Simone.
And thank you for joining us on Boomer Life on AM 650.